Today, let's discuss about one other profile. I've got another email from someone from a very different background, again from the HR industry. Now, this person has done a bachelor's in economics from one of the top leading schools in India, and post which initially got into an analyst role through campus and worked there for around 4 to 5 months. Didn't really enjoy what she was doing, and then planned to get into another role. That time she got an opportunity to work with a co-working space, a startup, a small startup, growing startup, and realized that this is something that she could try out because she enjoyed talking to people, she enjoyed challenges, and also when you work with a smaller company, the opportunities to grow are a lot higher than maybe working with a bigger company. Initially, she was completely focused on hiring and focusing on making sure that, because it's a growing company and they were looking at expansion and scaling up, the focus is more on getting more people on board. At the same time, the focus was also to make sure and plan that what are the kind of people they wanted to onboard, which means in terms of interviewing and also sourcing out the right kind of profiles, she had to figure out that whether it fits into the culture of the company. So there were a lot of dialogues and discussions with the company, the CEO of the company, which she could directly work with. That gave her a lot of advantage on the insight and the vision of the company to understand what else she could do. 3 years, though, it was just 3 years of experience, it was a short time, but she really grew well. She grew that team from maybe 2 to 90 across cities, across different states, which also had a lot of challenges for her, because at every point she had to focus on making sure that when she's taking young talent, she also had to have a backup plan. She also faced a lot of challenges, people leaving very early because they were not very clear about what they really want to do. So there were a lot of business challenges also that she had to focus on as an HR, because she was pretty much someone who was there with the company from the beginning itself. With that, she also got into roles in the last 1 year where she's focusing on business strategy kind of roles, where again, like I said, the culture part of it, planning out the culture, making sure that it is implemented across different kind of co-working space in India, at the same time figuring out processes around the challenges that they have faced in the last 3 years. Right? So what are the great parts about her profile? One thing is she's been exposed to a lot of problem solving in her career. So that definitely is one of the plus points about her profile. The second point is, since she's been part of a startup, she's also been exposed to working with the leadership team, which has also given her a lot of understanding about leadership and the roles and the challenges they face. And at the same time, since the kind of scale that she has grown, she's also seen that career progression in her career. So that definitely are the three, I would say, the main points about her profile. Now, how do we really map this with what she eventually wants to do? Now, her reason of why she wants to do an MBA is she believes that whatever she's done so far has been very experimental. It has been all based on what she understood was right, and even the problems that she's been focusing on, the challenges that she's focused on, is based on what she understood has been right at that point for her. What she missed during this whole journey is the business perspective. She never had to focus on the finance part of it. When she's hiring, she initially didn't have a budget in place because she didn't know what it takes to, get people on board, or is the company having some kind of restriction in terms of the, the amount they could pay as salaries or on payroll. So there were certain business aspects which she is missing, which she's looking at filling up with an MBA. So that is one thing that she's looking at, what she wants to do and why she wants to do an MBA. The other aspect of it is also that she wants to grow in her career. She does not want to restrict herself in the HR industry. So she's also looking at different roles where should she fit in and where will she fit in, right? What she wants to do is, she enjoyed a lot when she actually focused on solving problems, right? And when we discussed, we figured out that, okay, what are the kind of roles that actually gets into, specific areas where you're actually solving problems. That's when we thought maybe consulting could be something that she could evaluate as a post-MBA career goal, right? Because that consulting is all about solving problems. You are not restricted to any industry unless you're working for a boutique industry. Most consulting firms, you have to just pick up a problem and then focus on making sure that you solve the problem for the company you're hired for. Whatever the company is facing, you have to make sure you address those issues, right? The other thing that she was good at was managing people. So maybe project management, because she definitely had deadlines when she was looking at hiring. She definitely had an understanding of working with people, teamwork, as she was growing, because she also had to manage the people that she had hired. So that was also something, in some ways, not directly, but in some ways, because with a growing team, there are also more problems that you face. So she was also responsible to manage those kind of challenges. So I think, something like project management or people management could be something that she could look at post her MBA. Some aspects of her profile that she could work on is highlighting her analytical mindset. That would really work for her if you're looking at a consulting as a career. Highlighting that obviously GMAT score will be very important depending on what kind of school she's applying. So that is very important. Third is also focusing on having a very good clarity on what kind of consulting, because consulting also has various different kinds of consulting, what kind of company she would want to work with. Having some understanding of the consulting industry is also very important. So that could be something she could work on. It is definitely a very different profile because, if you look at the majority of percentage of people from non-engineering background coming to a B school, it's around 30-33%, right? So with that in consideration, she's definitely from a smaller pool. But I would say that's also to her advantage, not completely a disadvantage, because she could then look at, what are the kind of roles she could get into post MBA and highlight it more as a diversity factor than as someone who's come from a smaller percentage of pool that most people are from that particular, applying to that particular school. So that could be something she could look at. So I think, in all, I think she should definitely go ahead and plan her MBA journey better. Focus on a very good GMAT score. Make sure you put down all the points of what you have gained and what you have understood in the last 3 years of your work experience, and at the same time focus on what you would want to do and have a very good clarity on what you really want to do.